have you done? I'm a pink pony girl. And you dance at the club. Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Baby.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Charmed, I'm sure. How you doing?
What's going on with you?
Me? How am I doing?
Hey, how you? What's up?
I'm good, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're good at being natural.
Yeah, we're great at it even. Yeah. Things are good. I had a weird weekend.
Yep. Your child bear sprayed themselves.
Not their proudest moment.
They were bored.
Yeah.
It's not her fault.
That's what she kept saying.
Yeah. Has her perspective changed since?
I mean, I think we've tried to impress the gravity of her just rummaging and firing off a weapon.
Yep, because it may not be your house next time. Like,
yeah, or tent, as the case was.
But like, even worse in a tent. Yeah, like,
and so we have her like working off the damages.
Oh, what are the damages?
There was some stuff we couldn't like save.
Like the tent?
The tent itself. A smutty book of my wife's. A few things.
I thought you meant like a photo book of your wife, and I realized now you mean.
Oh yeah, we brought that camping.
Yeah, I was like.
Yeah, we brought the photo album of boudoir shots
camping. I was like, fucking nice.
Yeah. Do we have everything we need? Yeah, we got the propane. We got the.
Did you guys gotta get a copy of that made? Or?
Yeah. Yeah, you better believe it.
Because after I did to the first version.
Yeah, laminated.
Yeah. She certainly will be.
Jesus, good Lord. No, so we sort of laid all that out, like what the value of it is, and like worked out how many hours that is.
Oh, that sounds like wonderful
at
math.
Minimum wage. And so our daughter is in the middle of like basically between chores and stuff she doesn't like to do, like her letters workbooks and like learn to read books and stuff like that. Yeah. She is working off her debt to us, quote unquote.
Parents got me working.
Yeah, so
working off a debt.
It was an interesting weekend. Everyone is fine, by the way. If you heard the words like kid bear sprayed themselves and you were worried, everybody's fine. It's okay.
If anything, they're too fine.
I would make the argument, maybe.
Yeah. There could have been more damage done just to prove a point.
But yeah, God.
Yeah, you ever
my precocious, intelligent kid is, as expected, too precocious and intelligent.
Weird, yeah, from both you.
The confidence of a dictator.
Yeah, well, really, the confidence of your wife and the persistence of you.
Oh, and the stubbornness.
Yeah, of both of you.
Yeah. The impulsiveness of my wife and the I'm right of me.
Yes. Truly the perpetual emotion machine.
This was like, oh, well, we spliced in some like gecko DNA to the dinosaur and now can camouflage. It's like truly what we've done here.
Truly, yeah. Two things that should not have come together.
Yeah, we accidentally gave it the taste for human blood.
Yeah, as two separate people doesn't work together. As one person, it is bad for the world.
It's a problem, yeah. So
very fun.
So someone will unearth this in an audio archive years later and be like, how did the world get like this?
Yeah. Or be like, were there any signs?
In the before times.
Yeah, was there any signs that she would take over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess, she was eating fucking bear spray for breakfast. Yeah. Did you ever encounter pepper spray?
Yeah.
Weird silence after you said that.
listen,
It's better not to go into details.
there's no need for like details.
I
But
remember.
I have been pepper sprayed.
Uh-oh.
I'm realizing now what that sounds
Oh,
like.
okay. Yeah, I'm glad that you.
I will
clarify.
clarify and say by the cops.
I was attacking a woman.
By the cops. Yeah. It was a woman. No. Could you imagine if I said that, but not the detail that she was a cop?
Yeah.
Just,
Does that help?
yeah. Pepper sprayed by the cops.
A woman cop. What happened?
What did happen that time?
At that time?
Well, sorry.
You've interacted with the cops multiple times?
I mean, yes.
Oh, my God.
But they normally...
God, isn't it great to be white?
Let's also just say I didn't get pepper sprayed directly in the eyes, but like being in the vicinity of it, you still get the sting and stuff like that. And also, in my interactions with the cops, I have never been detained.
Because they can't catch you.
I mean,
maybe now, but
they could now.
yeah. Oh my God.
You smoke bomb, they just follow the panting through the fog. They're like, there he is. I don't remember what that time was, but let's just say I've lived a life.
I remember 2 kids in grade school, in like grade 8, got a hold of pepper spray and tried to like eat it.
Right.
And sprayed it in their mouths, and it was a bad situation because then it also got in their eyes.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
No, and was also not a thing you should eat.
No, you don't like spray it on your steak.
Very funny.
Yeah.
I remember that. Those are the same 2 kids.
Didn't they do that on Jackass or something?
Maybe that's why
Didn't
they
they
did it.
pepper spray steaks or something? Am I
Yeah.
making that up?
It sounds like a real thing.
It sounds like a thing they would do.
These were also the same 2 kids that made homemade wine and then drank it.
I'm sure it was good.
Then they
didn't make them go blind.
They drank it at lunch and then came back and I remember in science class throwing up everywhere.
Yeah. I can't imagine they did it properly.
No.
They made wine at home.
So funny.
Yeah.
Kids are stupid.
Yeah, no kidding. Jesus.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
Baby.
Hey, Doc.
Yeah?
I'm not talking to you.
Oh.
I'm talking to the questions
Oh, my
that we're
God.
asking today.
That's right. We're talking about medical professionals
Yes.
in DC. So there are a bunch of villains and heroes and, like, supporting characters.
Do I count as the female body inspector?
Oh, yeah. That's what we mean when we say doctor.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyone with a FBI t-shirt. Yeah, I mean, we've obviously even the show is a play on like how many characters have like doctor in their name, but a surprising number of them are not medical doctors. A decent number of them, I would say, are doctorate doctors.
I mean,
but a bunch are still neither. So-
ironically, this is the reason why we're called Dr. DC.
Well, I mean, this is what I'm talking about, though.
It was like that was
I picked it because it felt like that's like a name that you would have in a comic book world. It was like alliterative. I'm like Dr. DC. And then you immediately misinterpreted it as being medical. And our artwork for so long was me dressed as a medical doctor, which I'm sure confused people.
good.
Yeah.
Technically, if you looked in the deep background, there was a little tiny poster of the Flash.
And that's what you want in design.
Yeah.
You want it to be like difficult.
Look, I love a theme.
Yeah. Yeah. It was I'll take some of the blame there and say I maybe didn't communicate the idea of the name that well.
What you
when
said
we
was there's
started
a lot of
and,
doctors.
and we weren't friends.
Yeah.
And stuff was just happening.
Yeah, and we were being kinder with our words to each other.
Yeah, not like now.
We were less friends and
Yeah.
nicer to
I would
each other.
never back then have told you what a fucking bonehead move that was.
Whoa, fucking easy with the language.
Yeah. Yeah, now I say things like bonehead.
Yeah, you're fucking cool now.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. That's pretty good.
But yeah, so we're talking doctors. Hello, nurses.
Hello, nurse.
And general medical professionals.
Yes, yeah.
What's up, medical professionals?
Yeah.
Starting Facebook.
Go and do the face and the book. Go and do the Facebook.
First question comes from Jamie Edmond, who asks, what are the differences between the two doctors, Midnight, Charles McNider, and Pieter Cross?
Peter Cross.
What's P-I-E-T?
Yeah, it's still pronounced Peter. It's just
Pieter?
Well, no. That would be without a E between the T and the R.
I thought that maybe it was just like a mistyping.
Hey. You fucking bonehead.
Whoa, fucking Jesus. I thought we were friends.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I'll fucking show you a bonehead. Come over here.
Oh, my God.
Zip.
Oh, no. I don't like that at all. So, Dr. Midnight is a character that
Pepper spray me.
we've talked about sort of circumstantially before. He's a member of the Justice Society, so the Golden Age era of heroes. Yeah. If you've ever seen him in a comic, he almost has the same costume as what was like Red Robin, which was like
Red Robin,
like a red costume with a black cape. He's that kind of goes over like it's a Batman mask, but no ears. Yeah. It has a like reverse crescent moon on him, and he's got like crescent moon like buttons.
I like Red Robin's more, but I do think that the Midnighters is a cool costume.
Oh, Midnighter, yes. Yeah. But Midnighter and Dr. Midnight are not the same.
No.
So Midnighter,
yes,
fight computer, Wildstorm version of Batman. Dr. Midnight, essentially in some ways, thematically looks like he would fit in with the Bat family, actually.
Sure.
Just visually. But his thing was that he's blind. This is probably like 15, 20 years before Daredevil.
It's always midnight for you.
The character was like in an accident and then found that they could see in the dark. They basically had their vision reversed, was like the thing.
Sure.
So then he
I'm not sure how that works. But
developed these special goggles, and Dr. Midnight had these blackout bombs that would like block out all of the light, so then he could see and people couldn't.
Sure.
But the thing that always separated Dr. Midnight is that he was also, and continued to be, a physician, and was a physician both...
Night physician.
And was a physician in his...
That's everything you want to hear when you walk into a doctor's office. I'm going to turn off the lights and you're going to feel a prick.
Yeah, Jesus, good Lord. He remained a physician both in his civilian identity, but also as a superhero. Dr. Midnight sort of became like the super doctor. Like, if like, you know, the Flash got injured, you might see a panel where Dr. Midnight's like, you'll heal up fine, your Speed Force is working, see me in 2 days, kind of thing.
Sure.
And so that was something kind of special with it. So Charles McNider, a name that sounds suspiciously like Midnight already.
Yes.
Charles McNider was the original Dr. Midnight from the Golden Age. Peter Cross is actually the third Dr. Midnight. And that's, he came about in the 90s, I think. He had his own kind of 4-issue miniseries about him taking up the mantle. What's interesting is they both just like, we had an accident, but like our vision got fucked up, but like they weren't really connected to each other. Like, but there's a third Dr. Midnight that's in between the two of those, and that's Elizabeth Chapel. If you watched the Stargirl TV show, that's the Dr. Midnight on that show, is Beth Chapel.
Oh, okay.
And she was like maybe immediately post-crisis. That was Dr. Midnight. But essentially all of them are doctors, physicians, surgeons, whatever, who then also operate like midnight is the theme, right? Darkness, seeing in the dark, all that kind of stuff.
Nice. Yeah. Next question comes from... certainly not my carrots.
Oh my God, John's Peas?
That's right. Who asks, what's up with Nurse Maggot?
Yeah, not to be confused with Mini Maggot. Is that Back to School on the Deftones album?
Jesus.
Push back the square now that you need her, but you don't, so there you go.
That's fucking good.
I fucking loved that album. White Pony, incredible album.
I mean, it is really good.
Almost top to bottom. There's only a couple of songs I don't like on that album.
Do you follow that guy who does like new metal covers of like songs that people ask him to do?
I've seen the ones where it's like, what if the Deftones did Espresso?
Yeah,
or like
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
that kind of
The
shit.
guy, so he just did a Glassjaw one today, and I was like, fuck, that's good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, he's really good at it.
Um,
His Green Day one's really good.
oh, I haven't seen that. So Nurse Maggot, I believe, is like a random, like fourth worldy kind of character.
Okay.
But I'll be honest, I got it confused, and I thought there's a character called. It's not Nurse Ratchet because that's obviously from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but there's one. There's a character somewhere called like Nurse Ragged or something like that
Close,
in DC, and she is this is what where I got confused.
Nurse Racket.
Nurse Ragged or whatever her name is, works with the Crime Doctor, which is a character in DC. The Crime Doctor is
that the guy who like replaced his sperm with his own, like from in the sperm donors?
Yeah, I mean that would be a crime
doctor.
doctor. Yeah, the Crime Doctor's thing was essentially just that he was a doctor for criminals.
Oh,
You know, like that thing that you see sometimes,
not a
like
criminal doctor.
you know the thing that you see on shows sometimes where it's like, oh, I've been shot. You're like, I know a guy.
Oh,
and you
yeah,
like
yeah,
knock
yeah.
on a door, and it's like someone who like. In the way that we like the infrastructure thing of like I make the costumes for whatever, or like I build the layers for so and so.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the Crime Doctor sort of fit into that, and his there's a couple of versions, but essentially he's the brother of Gotham gangster Rupert Thorne, but he's more or less just a doctor that works with criminals, not like anything particularly special. So I kind of got confused, and I thought that Nurse Maggot was connected to the Crime Doctor, but I think that's a different name, like Nurse Ragged or something. I'm pretty sure Nurse Maggot is just like a random fourth world character, but I don't have more than that.
Sure. All right, let's leave Facebook and head over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
Fucking fast that time, Jesus.
Yeah, baby. Keep up.
Oh my god. All right.
Strap in. We're going to Instagram.
Oh my god. I'm fucking turned on.
Damn. I wish I was your lover.
Fuck. We haven't done that in so long.
There are jokes that will only ever apparently be funny to me, but Duke B. Nukem, I think, could make my audition reel for Saturday
SNL?
Night.
Yeah.
Duke B. Nukem.
There was an episode of the Lonely Island podcast that I listened to this morning, and they were talking about this one week where they because they basically go through each episode of that they were on.
Right.
And this episode they like had it was Shia LaBeouf that was.
Oh my God, is that the Dear Sister episode?
Yeah.
That's one of the all-time great sketches. That is such a funny sketch, and especially as a guy that watched the OC,
Yes.
I was like, this is made for me.
The old Lonely Island loved the OC, and that's why. And
It's one of the best sketches I've ever seen. From
they were
SNL.
saying that there was a lot of those sketches that were their best sketches that they like knew.
Right.
That one, it took years before they realized that it was like an important
that
one.
people like.
Yeah. They had no idea.
Ooh, what you say?
It's so funny, and they talk about a bunch of weird shit in that episode that was like just some like really stupid skits that they did that they wrote, and one of them was. It was just like a mom being like, "You quit that monkey business," and then Shia LaBeouf going upstairs, and he's just a bunch of like of the monkeys from the Wizard of Oz, being like, "Sorry, you guys, you gotta like back it up."
I mean, that's funny.
And they're like, it's a very much like they were like, it could have been what's his name that does like the hot dog costume guy or whatever.
Oh, Tim Robinson.
Yeah. They're like, it very much could have been like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, super, super funny.
I love that. I do think sometimes I have ideas that are not even big enough to be sketches. They're like, you know, when you see people that could do impressions, but the impression is only like two words. The micro impressions. Sometimes I think I come up with micro sketches that are basically just visual jokes like that.
It's like Family Guy cutaways. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Multiverse TV.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cursed Blob asks, where is Soranik Natu these days. I feel like a space doctor could be really useful in big cosmic adventures.
So Soranik Natu is the daughter of Sinestro. So she's part Korugarian. So Korugar is the planet that Sinestro's from. She's the daughter of Sinestro and then Abin Sur's sister. So Abin Sur is the alien that crash lands and then Hal gets his ring.
Okay.
So Abin Sur's sister, I think her name is Aaron Sur, and Sinestro were a thing.
Arensur and Arensur?
Well, and there's also Amon Sur, which is Abin Sur's son.
Christ.
Listen, we don't know alien name conventions.
As long as it's not confusing.
Yeah. Listen, there's Boromir, Faramir.
Oh, sure. At least theirs are different letters.
Yeah. Bilbo, Frodo, Drogo, Bongo, you know.
Toto.
Yeah, Toto. Well, he blessed the rains.
Yes.
Yeah. Down in
Oz.
in Harad, in the Harad Waith. So Soranik Natu, the daughter of Sinestro and Aaron Sur. She is like a neurosurgeon or something on her home planet of Korugar. And she Korugar has a complicated relationship with lanterns because, as we know, Sinestro, as a Green Lantern, went back to his world and became a dictator.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't love any color lantern. And so when she gets chosen by the Green Lantern Corps, she sort of like loses her job and gets like kind of cast out of Korugarian society. But often in her stories, she would come back to the idea of like also helping people as a surgeon. Which I think is interesting. She's been like the Green Lantern's like field medic and stuff like that too. She uses the ring to make like elaborate like surgical constructs to do procedures she couldn't do without it, which is sort of interesting. And to the point in the question, super useful.
Yeah.
Sometimes like here's one that you would love. During the Sinestro Corps War, when Guy Gardner is infected by Despotelis, the virus Sinestro Corps member, who injects Liesel Pon into Guy Gardner, Soranik Natu.
Fuck yeah.
So there you go. Your boy Liesel Pon
Fuck yeah.
has a Soranik Natu connection.
Hell yeah.
Where is she right now? Well, right now with the Green Lanterns, shit is weird. The United Planets have taken over the Lantern Corps. They've been destroying lantern batteries across the universe. Earth and Sector 2814 are quarantined. The main Earth Green Lanterns are essentially like the Rebel Alliance against... Because the United Planets has also been taken over by Durlans.
Fucking Durlan.
You're a Durlan. Bring that back from like early episodes of the show.
God, yeah.
So Green Lantern shit is weird right now. We haven't really seen Soranik Natu in a while, but in the way that the Corps is around, she's around. I'm sure she's in a panel. Like the Green Lantern Corps was big during Dark Crisis and stuff like that. I'm sure Soranik Natu was in there, but we haven't really caught up with just her specifically as a character in quite some time.
Got to get in there.
Yeah.
Next
So are you
question.
telling me I
Yeah.
have to write Green Lantern now?
Yeah, fucking get your shit together.
No, not like this.
Yeah, I know, it's fair. Next question. Oh,
Easy.
the real Josh Gill.
Oh, sexy Gil.
Yeah, easy yourself.
Ooh. Oh, no, not my hot plate. I had 2 payments left.
Where's Dr. Leslie Tompkins these days? With Alfred still gone, there's a big gap in the Bat family that she could help fill.
So, Leslie Tompkins, you must have come across this character.
Leslie Tompkins.
Man, I've seen that Leroy Jenkins clip circulate so much lately. I don't know if it's like
Really?
an anniversary of it or
Must
something.
be.
I've seen fucking Leroy Jenkins so much lately.
Weird.
Leslie Tompkins, you must have come across this character or reference to this character. You've read a decent amount of Batman.
Yeah.
So she is a doctor in Gotham City who often, through her own clinic or with other clinics, like works with sort of Gotham's underprivileged.
Yeah.
She has known Bruce since he was a child when his parents were killed and stuff like that. And she's never really fully loved the idea of Batman.
Okay.
She knows who he is.
Yeah.
She wishes he would do something else. She's never loved Batman. She is instrumental in a bunch of stories and is a great character to sort of explore like that idea of like what Bruce could have been. You know, things that we talk about sometimes, a different version of him or a different path he could have taken. Even Alfred, you know, in the early days of Batman, Alfred, you know, has some reticence or whatever, but he eventually basically believes in Batman, comes around to the idea that Batman is doing good and stuff like that. Leslie never really does. Very famously, during the War Games arc, she helps Stephanie. Well, she basically fakes Stephanie Brown's death to basically teach Bruce a lesson to keep kids out of his war, essentially.
Wow.
Which, you know, as a physician, to do something that deceitful and that you could tell that it means something to her. I don't think we've seen Leslie Tompkins much or at all, maybe, since Alfred died. Alfred died during City of Bane, which is years ago now.
Oh, yes. First order of business. I call this meeting to order.
I'm imagining him like as a mayor.
Hold on. I need to pick my kids up from school. No, it's okay, Dad. We're already in the van. Oh, it's great. Let's go get groceries. Oh, what aisle is this? Oh, it's over on aisle 4. No, we're not getting McDonald's again. You've had too much this week. We want McDonald's. Fine, here we go. But you're sharing one Happy Meal. Sir, what would you like to order for McDonald's? I guess I'll have a 6-piece McNugget meal. Oh, yes, we could get those. Do you have habanero sauce? Oh, we're actually out of that right now. There's so many of us in the city of Bane.
Thank you for that.
That's very nice. Also on the SNL packet that we submit.
Okay, you guys remember the comic book?
Remember there was an arc called City of Bane? What if there was a City of Bane? But yeah, I mean, Alfred's been dead. I mean, we must be going on 4 or 5 years now.
Wow,
Time is always weird with comics,
Sure,
you know, because an arc is 6 issues. That's half a year, and you kind of
It's
lose
like,
track
how
of
long
it.
was that in the...
You lose track of
Yeah.
how long it was in the comic versus
I would
real
love
life.
for someone to try to do that math one day.
Oh, fuck. But I don't know that we've really seen Leslie Tompkins around much since then. She's a great character, though. Like, we've talked a lot about, you know, how Batman's villains elevate him as a character because of the way they reflect things back at him. But similarly, all the non-powered characters in Gotham do that for Batman, too. You know, Bullock, Gordon, Leslie Tompkins, Alfred, like, they all reflect bits of Bruce back at him, too, that I think is interesting. On Batman the Animated Series, she was voiced by Diana Muldaur or Dr. Pulaski from season 2 of TNG.
Whoa.
So there you go, Leslie Tompkins.
There you go. Yeah. Next question comes from Alfred. Is Zaddy? He's also dead. What's the...
Alfred is deady, more like.
Nice. You fucking nailed him.
Fucking nice. I agree, Daddy. Oh, what have you done? You're a pink pony girl. And you dance at the club. What about me? Oh, that's not me. Espresso. I'm working late because I'm a singer. This is the radio station in the city of Bane. You're listening to 93.4 Bane FM. Welcome to Bane After Dark. Pillow Talk with Bane. I don't change my voice. We're taking a cold caller. What's your problem? Hello, Bane. Hello, my name's Bane, and I've got a problem, Bane. Traffic is a nightmare. When will Mayor Bane address this? I have already addressed it.
This is a great bit. No notes.
I'm sad we hadn't gotten to it years ago.
That's the best thing we've ever done.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh my God, Cajun Wolverine.
I don't think that's that. I'm gonna make a name for myself right now.
Ooh, boy, I'm about to make a name for myself up in here.
Did you see this? The video of him on Jimmy Fallon where he's crying because
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so sweet.
it's the cutest fucking thing.
Listen, I'm still trying not to. I mean, we're almost certainly in spoiler territory now, but I haven't stopped doing that voice around my wife.
I'm sure she loves it.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we can change the voice you use around her. Oh, I'm about to make a name for myself up in here. Oh, hold on. I'm almost ready to make a name for myself. Just I'm almost there. I'm almost making a name for myself. I wondered what would break first, that accent or your body.
Nice. Next question. Alfred Azadi asks, what's the latest on Tommy Elliott, aka Hush? I feel like after his role as fake Bruce Wayne, he hasn't been as active as Batman in Batman's world.
Right. So Hush is a villain that makes his debut in
Hush.
Yeah. It's just a little hush.
Not like I think every time we hush.
We're spinning the greatest tunes in Gotham. It's just a little Bane. Here's Crush by Jennifer Page. It's just a little crash. Your spine.
So Tommy Elliott is introduced in the Hush storyline. He's a childhood friend of Bruce's who's sort of like reverse Bruce's himself. He basically has his parents killed.
Whoa.
He orchestrates their deaths.
But he's parasite. What is that?
Yeah, it's parasite.
Patricide.
Well, patricide is your father.
Oh, sure.
Matricide is your mother. Parasite, I think, is your parents.
I don't know. I've definitely assided some mattresses in my day.
Oh no. I'm not even J.D. Vance.
Nice.
Fucking nailed him.
Yeah.
I like that one. There were a lot of good people on both sides. I'm the greatest Bane. There's never been a better Bane.
Deranged. No, he orchestrated the deaths of his parents, but
he turned into Batman. One day he was Bruce Wayne, and then one day he just turned into Batman. I always thought he was Bruce Wayne.
Listen, that's fucking funny. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. People are coming here for our incisive political commentary.
Right? If not for that, I don't know what else.
But Tommy Elliott, a renowned surgeon. So, like, you could maybe see a world where Bruce Wayne would follow in his father's footsteps and become a surgeon. Tommy Elliott did, but he ends up on
because his brother was such a good dancer. He had nothing. He couldn't follow in his footsteps.
Jesus Christ!
You don't like a Billy Elliot joke?
That's fucked. That's in such poor taste.
What?
That's fucked of you, man.
Did you prefer Baney Elliott?
Yes, go on. Now give me any other vocal reference to Billy Elliot.
Fuck. Well, here I go dancing. Yep, and I'm Irish, I think. Yep. Am I Irish? I was played by Tom Holland. Maybe English. Probably English.
I think English, yeah.
I'm a English dancer. Here I go, English dancer.
We're losing it now. We had a perfect game going.
What the fuck?
But he, obviously very disturbed, goes down this dark path, and eventually, is killing people and plastic surgeries himself to look like Bruce Wayne. And take
Face off?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but more like Frankenstein, with pieces. Actually, in Arkham City, you're following this, the trail of these murders where bits of people's faces are missing, and then you meet him at the end of that, and then he's in Arkham Knight, looking like Bruce Wayne. Hush was big for a minute. That story was big. It was a big new villain, a big new character tied to Batman's past, and I don't think Hush has ever really particularly mattered since.
No,
he's shown up in things, he's in Batman Eternal. He's in other
felt more like a
arcs
stunt
and stuff.
character than it was actually a development of a new
Totally.
character.
There's a Tales from the Dark Multiverse where there's a Batman Hush kind of merge character.
Yeah.
But really, Hush has not particularly mattered since, I would say.
Up until recently, I would say the same for like Onomatopoeia, but
I mean, Onomatopoeia, Green Arrow villain, first
Yeah,
of all,
yeah, yeah.
but, is now in Batman Kid
Yeah.
Crusader.
yeah.
Onomatopoeia, though, I think probably has more, I would say maybe more offhand appearances
Yeah, sure.
than Hush does. Hush is maybe in technically more issues, but I think Onomatopoeia is one of those ones where it's like, that's a fun gimmick. And at least at the base level, you have that with that character.
Sure.
But really with Hush at a certain point, it'd be like, you had a personal vendetta with Bruce Wayne and he beat you. Now what?
Yeah, true.
And they've never really cracked it. Like, even Mr. Freeze, when they kept rehashing the
Wife
Nora
thing. Yeah,
shit,
yeah.
they would find some new angles and stuff. They've never, in my opinion, really cracked that with Hush.
And we also know what Mr. Freeze should be doing next, so
Well, you want him on the Doom Patrol.
you agree.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against it. Yeah. But no, I mean, I don't think I could tell you what Hush is up to right now. I couldn't even tell you the last time we saw him.
He's been oddly
Other than in that Tales of the Dark Multiverse, like a sort of parallel Earth kind of thing. He's probably just like in some background things. I'm sure he showed up during... I'm not even sure he showed up during King's run on Batman. I'm not even 100% convinced of that,
wow.
which is kind of crazy. I think he's sort of like he's had his potential. You know how sometimes we say like this
Sure.
character hasn't lived up to their potential yet?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think maybe Hush has overstayed his welcome.
Sure. Yeah, he's been oddly silent
Nice.
as of late.
That's fucking good.
You're welcome. Next question.
You're like, how do we make Hush good again? I walk up James Cameron style and I write an S with a line through it in front of Hush. Shush.
Oh, whoa. He silences other people.
Yeah, shush. The dollar sign.
Shush.
Yeah.
Child.
Oh yeah. That's a good bit.
Sal Alexander asks, who are your favorite mental health professionals in the DCU? I've always liked Jonathan Crane, Scarecrow.
Yeah, I mean Jonathan Crane, psychiatrist or something like that. Obviously, who studies fear.
Yeah.
That's his obsession. That's the thing he's known for. And fear as a psychosis and fear as a evolutionary imperative and things like that. He's interesting that way. I wouldn't say he's a great mental health professional. You know what I mean? Like his training in that leans him like that's why he's able to study this thing.
Yes.
Because he's technically in the realm of mental health, but he's not great at it.
Sure.
He's never been great at it.
Yeah.
Harley was actually good at it.
Yeah, and was pulled.
And then,
Yeah.
has her fall, the Joker, unravel some of her kind of latent issues and things like that. She's obviously bounced back from that, and she, in good writing of Harley, the psychiatrist comes up. Her smarts, because Harley is extremely intelligent. She's got a PhD. She's a very talented and intelligent professional. Good Harley writers will use that. But she was actually like a good professional for a bit. I don't think anyone was like, Dr. Crane, this guy has cured so many. It's like every time we send Dr. Crane in, these guys like lose their fucking mind.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he went to check on Carmine Falcone and now he's
Was there like a turning point for him?
Crane. It's usually like when he's a kid.
Okay.
He's
So
got,
he
like-
got into the
Because I think his
invention of-
dad is also like, you must conquer fear. Like he has some sort of
sure.
like insane.
So he
kind
became
of,
a doctor with the intent of being
or
bad.
there's at least a version of him that's like that. But
Sure.
like, I think for Crane, it's always like a childhood thing. He's always messed up. It's not like he's like going to Arkham, slips, like whoa, I felt afraid, and I think I liked it. Like,
Yes.
like it's not like an accident. Is what I
Sure.
mean.
No, but I mean that's what I wanted to know. Yeah,
He didn't fall in a vat of fear or something.
experimental fear at the paper plant.
Experimental fear, yeah. So no, there's nothing like that. He went to a haunted hayride once, and he was like, "Oh my god,
My calling.
my parents were killed at a haunted hayride." Yes, Father, I shall become a scarecrow. Actually,
I mean, there are worse.
that's
origins.
there's a worse version of if you're like redoing it.
Yeah.
You
they
could do worse than that. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So there's those two. There's obviously like Dr. Hugo Strange. We're still in the Batman realm, obviously, because mental health and psychosis and that is a big part of Batman's villains and things like that. Dr. Hugo Strange is in there too. You know, his thing is he has an obsession with Batman to the point where Hugo Strange actually believes himself to be Batman at one point.
Oh.
He's one of the first characters to crack Batman's identity. Like, he figures it out. But Hugo Strange is also that sometimes he's positioned as like the Warden of Arkham, or like, you know, he's in these kind of like positions of power in Gotham City or whatever. So he's in there. Mental health professionals.
Who's your favorite?
I think we should maybe slightly expand this also, though, to include characters like, there's some characters that sort of take on the role of mental health professional.
Sure.
They're usually psychics or empaths.
Sure.
You know, Raven has empathic powers and does a lot of work on the sort of like the feelings, therapeutic side of stuff with the Titans. There's lots of examples of that, you know. Omen has basically been filling that role for Power Girl as she's been adjusting to her new powers in the sort of recent era of things for Power Girl. Omen has kind of taken on that role. Psychiatrists. I mean, there's a psychiatrist personality inside Crazy Jane. That's a little more like fucked up.
I mean, yes.
I think that's Dr. Harrison. I think that's the Crazy Jane personality. That's a psychiatrist. I can't think of like another one off the top of my head, but those are some of the main ones. Do I have a favorite? Probably Harley, to be honest.
I mean, it's
Harley's probably the one that's like, as a character, they do the best job of actually exploring being good at that job, and then how it informs them as a villain or as a hero or as a whatever. You know, in a lot of the other cases, it's almost like secondary. Yeah,
there's no like crazy dentists or anything like that.
There's a lot of surgeons, like Murmur, the Flash villain,
sure,
who's like a serial killer that's like cut out his tongue and sewed his mouth shut, and he has this sort of creepy kind of ragdoll look to him. Murmur is like a surgeon, obviously. Hush, surgeon. There's a lot of that kind of another surgeon, fucking Professor Pig. You know.
Oh, sure.
Great, very creepy version of that. There are probably other like mental health professionals I'm sort of missing, but I'm not thinking of them off the top of my head.
I think I know what kind of doctor you are.
What kind of doctor I am? Okay.
A podiatrist.
That's fucking good. That's really good.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I love feet.
What?
Anyway, next question.
Podiatrist.
No, podiatrist is feet. A podiatrist is a foot doctor.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh.
You're thinking of a pediatrician, but that's children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah. Next question comes from Ben Force Stewart.
Oh, lock the door if you're coming in.
Oh, but I'm not ready to come in just yet. I just wanted to see if you were here.
I'm here to tell you found Forrester.
Oh, well, that's good. I don't really remember what the movie's about.
I think like a writer or something.
Yeah, I'm here to be a writer or something.
We're good at this.
This is going well, I would say.
I mean, the best episode we've had in years.
Yeah, might be.
Ben Forrest Stewart asks, what's the deal with Dr. Midnight? I don't know as much about him, but it seems like he used to have a more active role, but now has become more of a behind-the-scenes player. But did something cause this to happen, or did the writers just make it happen gradually over time?
He is mostly behind the scenes. I mean, it's important to mention that, like, a lot of these Justice Society characters, you know, like when we're talking about the Golden Age, not many characters had solo books. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Oh, Misa solo book.
Nice. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
That's sort of the end of like solo titles. Everyone else had either main feature stories or backup stories in anthologies, including Green Lantern, Hawkman, Spectre, Dr. Fate, like Starman. Dr. Midnight is in there too. So sometimes you're like looking at these characters and you're like, when did they have a book? And the answer is they didn't. But if you read Adventure Comics, maybe like the third feature in it would be Dr. Midnight or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Dr. Midnight might have been in All American Comics, but that idea. But Charles McNider, the Golden Age Dr. Midnight, did have adventures, usually against like gangsters and stuff like that, as opposed to like super villains for the most part. But then, yeah, it was part of the Justice Society, so then would show up in Justice Society stories. And then over the years, as we're making reference to those things, he's in there. You're right that he sort of shifted, I would say through the 90s and 2000s, shifted to more of a background character. Both McNider and then later, Beth Chapel and then Peter Cross became more like support characters. So Beth Chapel you meet in, I think it's Infinity Inc. So she's part of the team in that team book. Peter Cross has a 4-issue solo series, and then you really only see Dr. Midnight on the Watchtower healing other heroes. You like kind of in that role, you know what I mean? So I think that's mostly true. And I'd make the argument that now, even when you do see the Justice Society, you don't really see Dr. Midnight. Even in the old reference things to like who was on the Justice Society back then, if they're going to drop a character, they'll drop Dr. Midnight.
Wow.
You'll see Starman more than you'll see Dr. Midnight.
Of course, yeah.
Which I also think makes sense,
Yeah.
but like Starman is also one you're not guaranteed to see.
Interesting.
You will see Spectre, Dr. Fate,
Sure.
Jay Garrick, Hawkman. Like, you'll see all of those ones for sure. Johnny Thunder, but not necessarily the other ones. So Dr. Midnight is, I think, often a casualty of that. I think he's got cool abilities. I like the sort of like inverted vision thing. I like the idea that he's like a good fighter, but also like could use his like medical knowledge, like what's the pressure point, the pain point, like
sure.
Like if I break your arm here, it does like
I like that.
it's that sort of thing of like, I mean, not to make another Daredevil reference, it's not just about the blind thing, but like Daredevil has that thing of like, I'm a lawyer unless lawyering doesn't work.
Yeah.
And there's kind of something interesting about like, I'm a doctor, but also sometimes anti-doctor.
Yeah. I help them get worse.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to need some patience.
Yeah.
You could say I'm impatient.
Whoa.
Crack. Like, I kind of like that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dr. Midnight's a neat character, but I also don't know that I'm like itching for Dr. Midnight adventures. But in the way that we like, for example, on Supernatural, we like the infrastructure of the world.
Yeah.
That there's like an auction of like mystical artifacts or a black market of metahuman things
Love
or
that
whatever.
shit.
I like the idea that Dr. Midnight exists and that we check in with him. You know what I mean? Like in the way that I liked the idea of Sanctuary, the mental health sort of place for the heroes. I like the idea of knowing that there is a physician for the heroes, that like there's a place to go where he like specializes in like their meta adaptations and things like that, because they can't just like walk into like Metropolis General and they go like, oh, I don't know, like your cells seem to be conducting electricity. Like, you know what I mean?
Good luck.
Because there's a big difference to me between just like the other thing that comics do a lot is they go like, well, I'm a scientist, so I'll examine you. But that's like when Barry goes like, I don't know, your cells are doing something. Barry's still not a doctor.
True.
There's something I like about the idea of like the healer.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a missing component. Oh, no, never mind. Well, I was going to say, it's totally unrelated to this question. That's kind of why I hesitated. But like, one example of essentially a pharmacist is the original Hour Man.
Okay.
Rex Tyler. I always get him and his son confused because one is Rex and one is Rick.
Oh.
But I think the original one's Rex. But his company, like Tyler Co. or whatever, Tyler Corp or whatever it is essentially a pharmaceutical company. He develops Miraclo,
Oh shit!
which is essentially a pharmaceutical that gives him superpowers.
Wow. Yeah.
So there is like he's technically a chemist or whatever, but more or less like you could make a version of the Justice Society where it's like we've been around a long time, we've seen a lot, we've learned a lot, and some of those like quote call them lesser members of the Justice Society or the less flashy ones could take on these roles of like I'm helping to set up the medical practice for our community. We're like I don't know. There's some stuff like that I find fun. I like that kind of shit.
Yeah, I agree.
I like meeting the person that like designs the costumes or like I think that's you don't have to do it every issue, but I like knowing that it's there.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm impatient, also impotent.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
How
Next-
potent is he? I would say
Yeah.
Doctor, how potent am I?
I
don't know how to tell you this, but
I'm what? Potent? I'm potent? Great!
Damn it. I really shouldn't let them read the diagnosis.
I mean, I read it and it says I'm potent.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing could. Nothing's ever gone wrong.
Oh no.
Next question comes from ABC.
Brooks.
It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
Brooks.
Easy as do, re, mi.
Brooks.
ABC.
Brooks.
1, 2, 3.
Brooks.
Baby, you and me.
Brooks.
Baby,
Brooks.
Brooks.
Brooks, 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 Brooks. I can't remember what the comedian's name is, but
Yep.
I see his stuff every once in a while on TikTok, and he has this one joke that says, "Do you think R. Kelly ever sits in his jail cell and hears a Michael Jackson song and goes, 'If only I was a better dancer'?"
Holy shit.
Which is a really funny joke.
Fuck, that is good.
It's dark as shit, but it's very funny.
Fuck, that is really funny. ABC Brooks asks, are there limits to the powers of the Nightmare Nurse?
So, her name is Aza. She's the Nightmare Nurse. I believe she's demonic, but she sort of has like, I would say, occult healing abilities. She was a member of the New 52 era Justice League Dark. Good arcs to see her in are basically like Forever Evil Blight and sort of right after Forever Evil in the New 52. She's interesting because, like with magical characters, theoretically, for almost any of them, the sky is the limit if they're willing to trade as much as they have to access magic. You know what I mean? It's all cost and consequence with magic. She's relatively powerful, and I think plays a, I would not say vital, but important role during Forever Evil Blight.
Impotent?
Oh, no. How many portents would you say I have? Oh, but this one's good?
Mama always said I'm important.
Inflammable means flammable? She's pretty powerful. She does some like healing shit on John Constantine and shit like that through that series. Theoretically, though, like she's accessing demonic powers. If the trade is big enough, if it's worth it for her, I think, as with many magic things, it's pretty amorphous. Sky's the limit. The question is that because she's demonic and the more she accesses her power, the more that side of her kind of comes out. Is you go like at a certain point, she's not going to do it altruistically. It's going to be something more conniving or something evil in her will come out and it won't be worth it anymore.
Yeah.
In the sort of Enchantress kind of way too, right? Where it's like you can keep a bit of a leash on, but the more you use that power, the more that weakens. And Nightmare Nurse has a little bit of that as well. But yeah, I think I answered that.
Yeah.
No.
Next question which means we're leaving Instagram and heading over to Reddit.
Where everyone's nice, no one's ever mean.
From Chozodia, who asks,
Chozodia.
Chozia. Nice.
Nice.
What is the most brutal injury that Dr. Midnight has saved someone from?
Oh. I actually don't know.
Fair.
I don't have a good answer for that. My feeling is that it goes one of two ways. It's either a real like hidden back issue adventure where someone like fell in a vat of acid and he nursed them back to health, and it's like really grotesque, or so, you know what I mean, like something from the 40s, and it's like if you really think about it, that's fucked up. It's crazy that he healed them. Or the other version of it is it's in the middle of a giant event comic.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, just like name a character got like eviscerated by Bizarro or some shit, and then the next time you see them, he's like operating on them or whatever.
Sure.
And they technically don't die. I think those are like the two ways to answer that question. Like, there's either some hidden Dr. Midnight story from the Golden Age where if you think about it, it's like considerably more dark than the way it was depicted.
Sure.
Or it's an event comic where those things are so big or whatever, and people get dismembered or decapitated or whatever, and then he's got to like, no, damn it, live, you know, like bring them back to life sort of thing. But unfortunately, I don't
Didn't
have...
he save Ted Grant at one point?
Yeah, which
in the
is
90s?
which
Yeah.
is probably, you know, I mean, with Ted, it's probably just getting the piss beaten out of him or some shit like that. But by the Capitol Police.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to be here, sir. This is a public building.
I'm standing on the outside. I'm on the sidewalk, so I'm actually just using my right as a...
First Amendment.
Fucking hate those guys so much. Let's leave Reddit and head over to the Doxcord.
Oh.
Oh,
hang on.
yeah.
Push back the square. Now that you need ducks, but you scored,
Oh.
so there you ducks.
That's good.
'Cause back in scored,
Uh-huh.
we are the duck squad.
Nice.
Have it all.
Nice. That's good.
Man, am I going to listen to some Deftones later?
It's good.
Fuck yeah.
From Constipated Gandalf,
Nice.
who asks, were Leslie Tompkins and Thomas Wayne ever an item?
Oh. My recollection is that I've seen more things where it implies that Leslie Tompkins and Alfred have some kind of history. Maybe not as like we're boyfriend girlfriend, but like
Sure, but maybe he like served her.
oh yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah, fuck yeah, yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. And he does it with like etiquette.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Lay a towel out.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holds her like a bottle of wine.
Well, what's this for, Alfred? He goes, "You're going to need it, madam."
Whoa.
Oh,
Fucking hell yeah.
fucking Alfred.
All right.
Yeah. You're about to get every penny's worth. I'm here to pick him up from hookup.
Whoa. I'm here to pick him up from fucking mother.
I believe, like, my memory is that I've seen things that imply that. Now, that might also be like alt universe kind of stuff, like Elseworldy things
Sure.
or Earth One or some shit like that. I think she knew Thomas Wayne, but I don't know that I've seen a thing that implies that they had a thing. And part of that, too, is that I've probably said this on the show before. I don't love deconstructing the Waynes too much.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of it. Like, in year one, the idea that, like, he saved Falcone... like, because he's a surgeon. That's what you do. You preserve life. And then Falcone's like, oh, I owe you. And he's like, I don't want you to owe me. But he's like, no, it's okay. I owe you, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'd make the argument that even the Batman, like the movie, pushes it farther than I like.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, where it almost makes it seem like he's in cahoots.
And he's not, like that movie definitively goes like, that was not in his control. He didn't want this. But like, even that like tarnishes them in a way I don't actually love. Of all the shades of gray shit in Batman, I kind of don't want that out of the Waynes.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
At
Like,
least it's better than the Joker.
well, sure. But like, well, yeah, fuck. So where I'm going with this is, having something like that implies that he's cheating on Martha. And that's a deconstruction of Thomas Wayne that I think in general,
Doesn't serve the story.
comics tried not to do for a very
Yeah,
long
yeah,
time. And I would rather pretend it didn't exist.
Yeah.
You know, like, all of these things are subjective. It's a weird line in the sand for me to draw, but like, because these, like, all these characters are so like archetypal or like mythic, because we're not doing the like these are real people in a real world sort of thing. I actually don't need that out of their parents. I want the Kents to be impossibly good. I want the Waynes to be impossibly generous. I want the Flash's parents to be like impossibly forgiving. I want
Yes.
like I kind of want the parents to be largely unassailable because they sort of operate on a different level. We're telling a different type of story, especially when it comes to parents and origins and things like that. I don't need that shade of gray. So if it did happen, I would like probably headcanon it out for myself.
Totally.
Because it's not a thing where it's like, and here's my secret half brother, Dr. Thomas Tompkins, you know what I mean? Like, they never do that shit.
Yeah.
So there's enough you could just ignore it if it did come up. But my memory is that when they have done stuff with Leslie, it's actually been more with Alfred.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I'm getting that from the cartoon or from a comic. Like, I don't remember where I'm getting that from.
But yeah, that seems to be the case. Yeah.
I think so.
Next question from Fingerstripes13.
Nice.
Who asks, what has Khaled Nassour been up to lately? Is he currently acting as Dr. Fate? Do he and Kent Nelson share the mantle, or is it whoever has the helmet? And finally, how does he integrate his medical skills into his magical ability, or vice versa?
So Khaled Nassour is the current Dr. Fate. First appeared in 2014 or 2015.
Okay.
So during essentially the New 52 era. And it's one of those ones where they never really did this before, but he's a medical student in that book when he appears. And the helmet comes to him and he doesn't want it, and this cat like kind of familiar is like, no, you have to wear it, you have to fight Anubis, or like shit like that.
Weird.
Sort of like a guide kind of thing, because it's all tied to like Egyptian myth and gods and stuff like that. But he's like, if I'm going to be a superhero, if I'm going to command like the power of fate, then I gotta keep a piece of myself alive. Because we also know the thing with the helmet, right?
Yeah.
Naboo takes over or whatever. He's like, I need to keep a piece of myself alive. I'm a doctor. I'll be Dr. Fate. And that was sort of the thing of like, now, like, that's how I can keep a piece of my own identity alive when I'm part of this like greater supernatural being.
Sure.
Which was sort of interesting. And at that time, in the New 52, he was essentially the first Dr. Fate on that world, because Kent Nelson was on Earth 2.
Okay.
We had removed the Justice Society from the timeline again in the main continuity. Now, blah blah blah. He's just the latest Dr. Fate. He has had Kent Nelson with him, helping him in the helmet for a bit, and as a spirit. I think Kent has finally moved on, but Khaled Nassour is active. He is Dr. Fate. He's the current Dr. Fate in DC Comics. He has been for almost 10 years now. Not a bad run. Through Justice League Dark and stuff, when they did fight like Naboo and stuff like that, he was still in there. He had a lot of like stuff with Man-Bat, who was on the Justice League Dark, and was trying to learn about supernatural stuff scientifically, which was an interesting dynamic. He's still learning in some ways. He's still kind of a newish Dr. Fate, but no, he's still around. He's in the Justice Society of America book. When Dr. Fate shows up, it's him. Still around, which is great, because like the New 52 was a weird time, and that book really set him up. Like he could have been in his own bubble, and we never saw him again. Sure. And that would have been too bad. I mean, because he's got we're bringing a cool new kind of bit of diversity in, that he's like actually like from Egypt, and like stuff like that. Like I think he is related to Kent. or I'm thinking of the Earth 2 one, which is Khalid bin Nasur or bin something. But at any rate, it would have been a shame to lose him, but it would have been really easy to do. And the fact that writers went out of their way to keep him around, put him in
awesome,
Justice
yeah.
League Dark, keep him in the Justice Society, not just like, especially like Jeff Johns, be like the man who's like, back to the first one. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's really cool that he's gotten this much life out of it. Dr. Fate's one of those great characters where you can actually pass the thing on to. It's all too easy in so many ways to just abandon a version of the character.
Yeah.
And the fact that they haven't is actually really cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Next question from Butt.
Oh, sorry. I should say, I'm not sure that I think in the Dr. Fate book, when he's introduced, you get a little bit more of like him as physician factoring in.
Mm-hmm.
Less so now, other than I would say he's got a very like academic or clinical approach to learning magic, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the brain process of like a accomplished surgeon or something in how he approaches learning new spells and stuff like that.
Next question comes from Butt Fart Butt, who asks, do any of the Dr. Midnight have powers that help them in their medical profession?
No powers. I mean, unless you say inverted vision is a power.
Sure.
Because technically it's not just the way normal, regular vision
Hold on, I'll
works.
put my head inside you, and oh, there it is.
Jesus. Good Lord.
You can see in the dark.
That's how I found out I had powers.
Yeah. Put my head in me.
Good Lord. Other than that, though, no powers. Like, no enhanced speed or strength or things like that. The Doctors Midnight are just generally relatively capable fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, like, middling detectives. You know, like, I would say not the best at any one thing, but, like, determined and good.
Sounds like me.
The thing that they're the best at is doctoring.
Sure.
You know?
Not like
But the other thing, too, is, like, you know, they make the blackout bombs and the goggles and that to lean into that advantage of their different perception of light and vision, right? So their approach is to, like, level the playing field. Or actually, like, unlevel it,
Yeah, so,
you know?
yeah.
Like, as opposed to having to lean on a power or something like that.
yeah.
But I think that's what I like about them too. I also, again, I like the idea of someone who's like, my role is to like to heal and blah 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 blah, unless I can't, you know, like
Sure.
I like the idea that it's like, yeah, I just camp out in the Hall of Justice. I'm just here in my doctor's office, and then like fucking Metallo breaks in, and like for some reason like Dr. Midnight's the only one home, and he's got to like, you know, like. I like someone that's like a good enough hero to do that kind of shit. Like,
But also like has a job.
and you feel scared for them because it's not Batman fighting
Sure,
Metallo. You kind of
yeah.
go like, oh fuck, Dr. Midnight, no.
Yeah.
You know, like
I
I
like
kind of
that.
like that shit.
All right. Next question comes from our favorite spacey, sexy texter.
Oh, Cosmic DM.
That's right.
I almost didn't get that.
I know. I was
Yeah.
worried for a second.
I feel like we haven't
Right?
done that.
I feel like there's
Intro
a
in
few
a
today
while.
that we haven't gotten.
We've had Cosmic DM in the last little bit, but I feel like you haven't done that intro in a while.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I'll leave that stuff to you now.
Yeah, like everything else.
Fucking, it'll be one more thing if you don't shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry, sir.
Cosmic DM asks, what medical specialist would most easily maintain a legitimate practice? My money is on Harley, but her version is the therapy stand from Peanuts.
I mean, that's kind of funny.
Yes.
I mean, I think in
I
general,
mean, Dr.
he's-
Midnight, obviously. Yeah.
Dr. Midnight, yeah. And yeah, that one up there for sure. Harley, I think, decently.
So she is crazy.
there. Yeah, but she's sort of reforming. She's kind of mostly a hero now. She works with the Bat family.
Sure. So she's not crazy anymore?
I mean, she's like crazy, but she's good crazy now.
I mean,
Easy.
I met a few good crazy. in my life.
Easy.
It is a scale.
Yeah, who would be a good, like, just have their own practice?
Practice? When are they actually going to do the job?
I mean, a great joke,
Yeah.
a classic dad joke. Yeah, those two are good ones. I might throw. I mean, Leslie Tompkins does have her own practice, her own clinic in like usually in like Gotham's East
Does
End
she
or in
count
the,
as a hero though? Like
no, but is that what the question was, or was it which like doctor, which physician?
it is which physician, but I would assume that there's
She's just an actual doctor.
yeah, like yeah. I don't think it counts if you already are.
Fuck. Yeah. Let's see who else would be good. I mean, Mr. Terrific could. Mr. Terrific.
Oh, okay.
You know, famously extremely intelligent character, and also like a polymath. He's
he likes to do math with multiple partners.
yeah. Fuck.
1 + 2 = nice.
Yeah, easy, Terrence Howard. Fucking nailed him.
That's fucking good.
No, a polymath, as in like he's an expert in many fields.
Sure.
You know, Mr. Terrific has like 10 PhDs or something like that. He was an Olympic decathlete. He's a master engineer, biologist, chemist, physicist, physician. He has an MD, I think.
Wow.
And Michael Holt, Mr. Terrific, is famous in the real world. Like, Terrifitech is a huge company. He's known to be Mr. Terrific. He could be like, and I'm opening a private
Sure.
clinic, and like all the high rollers would come in. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Mr. Terrific could absolutely make a go of it as like having an actual clinic.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Next question from Big McLargehuge,
nice.
who asks,
He's
Denny,
not compensating at all.
yeah. Denny O'Neill's last.
Small McTiny nothing. I'm fucking sorry.
I'm 43.
I'm 43.
Denny O'Neill's last panel of his last Batman comic was Dr. Tompkins telling Batman she feels sorry for him in anger. How do you think she compartmentalizes her relationship with Batman versus Bruce?
So, I mean, like I said before, the thing with Dr. Leslie Tompkins is that I think she harbors some deep regret and sorrow for the life Bruce could have had. I think she takes a certain amount of personal responsibility that she couldn't steer him in a path that didn't lead to Batman. Mm-hmm. I think she does not, by and large, approve of Batman's methods or existence. There's always a comic where Batman comes and saves her from a mugger, and it's like, great. But then it always flips around. She goes, but like, there's more than one way to do this, you know? And it's not always the sort of reductive Batman thing of like, why don't you just like spend all your money on social programs or whatever? Like, because it's a comic book. I think for her, the concern is about Bruce, about like his soul. You know, what does being Batman do to him? And I think she has a certain amount of investment that way. So like that panel, the like, I feel sorry for you. Like Batman's whole thing is like the mystique, the aura, like, is he instilling hope in Gotham? Yes. Is he instilling fear in criminals? Yes. Is he, you know, inspiring others to like take up the fight? Yes. And for her to like look at this guy who goes toe to toe with gods. He's like the smartest, most accomplished, most physically like masterful person on the planet, essentially. And she just goes like, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah.
It's pretty devastating because like the thing that Batman's never been good at is being a person. you know, like he's the flip side of going and being on the level of gods is that he has forsaken his humanity.
Sure.
That like peak, you know, physical, mental determination, whatever, actually makes him inhuman.
Yeah.
You know, because humans aren't meant to push and not break. You know, we have limits and Batman doesn't. And so her saying that is really kind of highlights that and is a sort of like, I do think it shows the break that she's got, you know. She never rats him out, you know. She doesn't like do that kind of shit. Or maybe she has once, I don't remember. But she knows who he is. But she, I think, would give anything to make him Bruce over Batman.
Sure.
The compartmentalization thing is that she knows he's Batman. Even when he's Bruce, he's Batman. So I think she does have to sort of like tamp down her general disgust or disapproval of Batman, because she does maintain a friendship, a working relationship, and sometimes it's like very tense, and sometimes it's incredibly strained, or they're on bad terms, but they do maintain a relationship. The only way that's possible is for her to partition off how she feels about Bruce from how she feels about Batman.
Yeah.
You know?
All right. Next question from Rubik's Cuban, who asks, I always found it hilarious how Doctor Strange doesn't bother to hide his identity. Are there any other DC heroes or villains besides Hugo Strange that don't really hide their identity like that?
Oh. I mean, I guess Sora Natu. You know, a lot of Green Lanterns are just like,
That's their name,
on
yeah.
Earth, we have the concept of a,
Green Lantern.
a masked
Yeah,
hero.
Yeah.
But in the universe, to just be like,
Yeah.
it's me, like Greg from Sector 3.
Yeah.
You know, like, there's no need for it. You know what I mean? Ooh, good question. Ones that don't hide their identity. I mean,
Victor Zsasz.
not really a doctor.
Oh, it did. Yeah, it just said characters, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's tricky. I'm not thinking of one. Let's just have a little quick scan here, though, because maybe there is one, but nothing comes to mind, I don't think. I mean, I guess technically, like, the Crime Doctor, I don't know that he goes by Crime Doctor. You know what I mean? I think he might just be
interesting.
known as, like,
that's just what people call him.
as Dr. Thorne or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, let's see. It's not the same as in Marvel. I mean, the only one that is the same is literally Doctor Strange. Dr. Hugo Strange is Dr. Hugo Strange.
Sure.
He doesn't have, like, his, like, code name isn't like Madman or like something like that. It's just that's who he is.
What about Dr. Polaris?
But Dr. Polaris is like a split personality thing. Like, Dr. Polaris is a different identity inside of Dr. Neil Emerson.
Oh, sure.
He doesn't, like, put on the helmet and go, I'm Dr. Neil Emerson. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Oh,
I mean, people know who Jonathan Crane is. Like, his identity is known. Batman's not keeping that a secret. The first time he arrested him, he was like, it's Dr. Crane under here. And so everyone knows that Dr. Jonathan Crane is the Scarecrow, but that's not the same as, like, just operating as
Dr. Savannah.
Dr. Savannah, yeah. Mad scientist, but theoretically probably some sort of doctor-y kind of bit to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dr. Thaddeus Bodog Savannah.
Yeah, Mono.
A totally normal, fine name to have. Yeah, that's a fair one.
Dr. Fate.
But that's not his name.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm Lionel Fate.
Yes.
Like,
sure.
no, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's really not a ton of characters in DC that actually just, like, keep their name as a thing. There are lots of characters whose identities are known. Harley Quinn and Harleen Quinzel are known to be the same thing. Dr. Jonathan Crane and Scarecrow are known to be the same thing. But that's not the same as
Dr. Occult?
But I guess his name is Richard Occult. But we're straying out of the medical profession.
Sure, yeah.
But yes, technically speaking. But no, I maybe there is one, but I'm not thinking of it. In general, in DC, we do a lot more code names.
Dr. Light?
Yeah, again, not a medical
Arthur
doctor, but
Light.
Arthur Light. That is actually his name.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, I think that's it for
There's
medical profession. Because, like, Dr. 13, I don't think is a
that's
medical.
Terrence 13 and Tracy
yeah,
13.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is their name.
Yeah.
Dr. Poison is Isabel Marou, so she's got a different name, so not quite the same thing. Dr. Cyber has a different name.
Yeah, it's ASL.
Oh, I mean, Dr. Psycho. So, Dr. Psycho, Edgar Sisco, is is he a trained psychiatrist or something? Wonder Woman villain, misogynist dwarf that like hates women. Dr. Psycho, his name is Edward Sisco.
Close.
Very close. And it's almost more like the Dr. Psycho thing became like a derogatory nickname kind of
Oh,
thing.
interesting. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he has some kind of background in like clinical psychology
Sure.
or like some shit like that. He's another one. So he's maybe one of the closer ones. Dr. Sisco, Dr. Psycho. Yeah.
Close.
Hey, baby.
What?
I've got an appointment with Dr. Sisco.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That thon.
I think your mind has dumps like a truck. Your mind's like, what?
Baby, let your mind go.
Yeah. I think we'll do this session again.
Whoa. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
What?
Look at that brain so scandalous.
God, so crazy, can't handle us.
That's good.
All right, last question.
Is that better than Thon song,
No.
though? Yeah.
No.
Barry!
That thon,
I'm Thon. I like the way your speed goes.
baby, make it feel go. So fucking good.
My wife just turned over and looked away from us. The Thon song's what did it. It was one step too many.
Why is it she always turns over when we're doing our thing?
I mean, it's probably for the best.
Yeah. That's the way I like it anyways.
Easy.
Last question.
Okay.
From Bisexual Lad,
Nice.
who asks,
Who, by the way, came onto the doc score and people were like, bisexual lad, you in the Legion of Superheroes? He's like, no, I didn't make it, but I'm in the Legion of Submissive Heroes.
fuck.
And I would say 3 seconds too late to making the Legion of Subs joke.
Yeah, no.
And incredible intro.
You're one of us.
I love it. Way to go, bisexual lad.
Love it. Despite being
Honestly, better power than Color Kid.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Also easier to explain.
Yeah, I can change the color of things.
Yeah, to the right color.
Oh no.
Despite being blind,
Okay.
Dr. Midnight can see in darkness
Yes.
and even other spectrums with the aid of the goggles. But can he see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Oh, interesting. I mean, here's the craziest part of that question is like, why would you see that they love the taste? Shouldn't you just like have an understanding, like an olfactory understanding of the smell and taste, and you'd be like, yeah, that's good. Kids would like this.
Yeah, but if you watch a kid and they enjoy it, then you
But
know.
No, I don't trust it.
They're just lying.
Yeah, they're crisis actors.
No.
It's a psyop by Big CT Crunch.
Yeah, this kid's like, well, it's no bear spray, but I like it.
Oh God. Yeah. Let's see. Could Dr. Midnight tell? I think Dr. Midnight's big critique would be that it's such a sugary cereal. You know, just from like
That's a doctor.
from a physician's perspective. I don't
Sure.
know that he'd be like making the recommendation of CT Crunch, but I'm sure he would perceive why kids like it. Yes.
So funny. I had a doctor's appointment the other day, and I was like, should I like take an afternoon stimulant or like what's an opportunity? Like, I'm like, I feel like
For what?
Because I'm like, I have a hard time.
I leave work at like 1:30 and have a nap. Is that normal? Be like, is it like a physical thing? It's like, no, I just get bored and walk out.
Yeah, I just get bored and then I use the bear spray.
Listen. Jesus.
No, I leave and then I fall asleep at home.
Yeah.
And the doctor's response was, "Well, is your couch really comfortable?"
Wow.
I was like, "Yeah," and he's like,
I'm writing you a prescription for a piece of shit couch.
"Yeah, piece of shit couch, ain't gonna get no pussy."
A fucking pile of shit.
But yeah, I was just he was basically like, "Man, I hear you. It's hard."
Okay, sorry. We got to back up. You went to the doctor and said, "Can I have a stimulant?"
No, I already had a stimulant, but I'm wondering if I
So
should.
you wanted another one?
Well, I'm wondering if I should take a second pill in the day because I fall asleep at 2:00 every day.
Maybe try staying at work.
Nah, I can't be it. Well, if
I
you,
stop working and I just like go home, and for some reason I like rest.
yeah, when I go home and lay on the couch, I fall asleep.
I don't
at
get it,
2
man.
o'clock.
That's weird.
Yeah, after a really big meal, I fall asleep at 2:00. Guess we'll never know. You want to ask questions
Lord.
for next week's episode?
Next week, we have a special guest joining us.
Whoa, we do.
Host of $1 Words, Nug Nargong, is joining us.
Is that one I got to be there for?
Yeah. Jesus. We're going to be talking about, and this is a pretty broad subject, but basically like
Talking about chicks?
C-list heroes and lower.
Oh.
For example, some of the ones thrown out while I was talking to Nug. Blue Devil, Firestorm. Someone's going to come
Bug.
at me for putting Firestorm that low,
Yeah,
but still.
that's fucking insane.
You know, but basically like you're kind of like weird, lesser, obscure, infrequent heroes. Red Tornado, stuff like that.
Sure.
Ask questions about any character that you deem to be in that range, and we're just gonna open it up and we're gonna have a fun time, and it's gonna be a cool episode.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So send in questions for your C and D list
Yeah,
characters.
and lower
Oh my god.
J list.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Does that go that far?
M list.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Well, you can send those questions to our various social media platforms. Also, if you want to get even more content from us,
Oh, okay.
we are in the midst of Eatgist.
It's Eatgist, baby. It's the internet of food all month long. The Eatgist to end all Eatgists. This week, I think we're doing a blind taste test.
Yes.
Okay. So we're doing that. That's going to be fun. But yeah, check that out. Go to patreon.com/DrDC. $1, $5, $7 level. They all give you access to the Docscord, our amazing Discord fan community. At the $5 level, you get the double dose. That's where Eatgist is happening, where you can join us for that. And at the highest level, there's bonus series, Toretto Talks, Bonding Time, and Cerebros. A new episode of Cerebros coming out this weekend.
Oh,
Finally,
shit.
the Deadpool and Wolverine episode of Cerebros.
It hath been wrought.
And it all helps to support us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of us, we've got more of us on
Yeah.
our free podcast.
And more of me.
Oh, yes, I can't wait.
An entire city of Bane.
Yes, that's right. Do you want more of this? Maybe we'll do a whole episode like this.
I've got a pitch. It's called Spin City of Bane.
Oh,
Remember that show?
I'm Richard Mean.
Nice. Not Richard Kind. Richard Mean?
Yeah,
That's.
Bane, City of Bane. Yeah.
I think you should break that out as a separate character for our SNL packet.
Yeah.
And now Richard Mean. It's just a great Richard Kind impression, but you say mean things.
God, I wish I could do a Richard Kind impression.
Very difficult impression to do, I would imagine.
Yeah, what would that be like?
Is he in the room with us right now?
Can I speak to Richard Mean? Aren't I just Richard Mean?
Yeah. I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a podcast called Ghost Facers.
A Supernatural rewatch. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We talk about real world monster lore, behind the scenes stuff about the show. It's a grand old time. We're about to start season 10
Yeah.
of 15.
Insane.
Yep.
Getting near the
Still
end.
have a few years ahead of us.
Oh yeah, those are the good years.
Sure.
The latter years.
Yeah, because you know it's going to end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the sweetest years.
Yeah, hell yeah. Fuck
Plus
yeah.
you can taste the end.
Yeah.
Do you want to know how different
That would be-
blood is delivered?
Do you want to learn the lore of lawn care?
These are all important.
Do you want to like talk about sandwiches every episode?
Please don't do this.
All season 10, baby. The sandwich segment is back.
Don't know. People don't want it.
They do.
the people
They've
who,
been breaking down the fucking door for it.
people who liked it are fine with
And
it.
they're the only ones I care about.
But they weren't begging for it.
Anyway, go check out Ghost Facers, where everything's good and I listen to the feedback.
That's it for this week.
Adios, brother.
Oh, ciao, ciao. Every night, oh.
It would be extremely painful.
All the superheroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of